this morning, a historic landmark in the capital area getting a big facelift after being idle for more than 40 years.
Yeah, Tune In's Mia Monet joins us live from the historic Cook Theater in Scotlandville with more. Mia, good morning. Very historic theater. So what are you learning? What are the future plans?
Good morning, Brandy and JP. Now, one thing I learned this morning is that this building was originally built in the 1930s, and it was a place where African Americans could gather and be together and see entertainment and everything in this community. Now, I'm actually joined here with me this morning, Mr. Tevin Wade, the man with the plan, and he is a business owner. Not only did he acquire this building, but he also owns the Lighthouse Pizzeria a little bit further down the street. He's buying back the block, and he also owns student housing. So just talk to me about buying this building. Why?
It's just really significant for the community. When you talk about a community having a hub, a place that we can gather, a place that, you know, our kids can be able to come and see films. You don't see that anymore in our black communities. And for Scotlandville, that was a significant place. We're talking about the kids in the community will be able to come and see a 14-cent movie. You know, the adults could come and see a 35-cent movie. They would have after-school programs for kids, weekend programs for kids. So just bringing something like this back to the community is significant. You know, so our efforts is to revitalize it, bring back a screen in the inside, but also make sure we add a stage so that way we can have theater come, we can have concerts come to the venue, and we can also, you know, just make it back to that community hub like it used to be.
Now, you were telling me that the Cook family is the original people who built this place up. Now, what can you tell me about that family?
Yeah, so the Cook family was in the community. James Cook, you know, James Cook was a senior, and his son, James Cook Jr., actually took it over after him. The Cook family ran this theater for more than 30 years. It burned down around, I think, 1940s or 1950s, and they rebuilt it. It was originally actually a wooden structure, and they rebuilt it to a cinder block building, so that way if a fire happened again, it wouldn't be destroyed like it was, you know, in the 1930s. So, you know, I love what they did to the building. I actually love the history of this building, and I just think, you know, it coming back into commerce is important for everybody in the community and for us to see that we can turn our communities back around.
Thank you so much, Tevin. Well, we still have more coming up. Next, we're going to show you just how far along they've already started going with the construction that they plan for this building. And maybe we'll get a sneak peek inside. So just stay tuned right here. Right now, reporting in Scotlandville, I'm Mia Monet, WBRZ News 2.
New this morning, a historic landmark is getting a facelift after sitting idle for more than 40 years.
Yeah, Tune In's Mia Monet is live from the historic Cook Theater in Scotlandville with more. Mia, good morning. So what are their plans to restore the theater?
Good morning, Brandy and JP. That's right. We're standing directly across the street from the historic Cook Theater. Now, this building opened early back in the 1930s, and it was open to be a staple in the Scotlandville community, specifically for the African Americans to have a place to come and gather and see all this entertainment. And now I have joining me right now, one of the local business owners here in Scotlandville who's working to revitalize the entire community, who recently bought the building out. He's buying back the block, actually. Now, you have some big plans for this building. Just talk to me a little bit. I know y'all have already started construction on it. Tell me how that's going.
So, well, we started to clean up on the building, and I wanted to do some minor renovations to the exterior just so that way we can clean it up and make it presentable as we try to go after grants, city funding, state funding, and federal funding to help us through these revitalization efforts. So our plan is to revitalize the inside, keep the historic seats in the inside, but we also want to try to add a balcony in the interior, because if you see the building structure is like around 30 foot high. So we want to add a second floor so that way we can also rent it out for events as well as bring entertainment in. And just make sure we capitalize on the space that the building has.
Now, you were talking about federal grants and with the state and everything. How's that process going for you?
So we actually recently closed on the building. We hadn't had it that long. So now what our plan is to reach out to local officials and state officials to see what is actually out there and available for us to actually apply for. So we are looking for that. I would ask for anybody, you know, who do know to reach out to us. You know, I can easily be found within the community at my restaurant, Lighthouse Bar and Pizzeria, you know, or, you know, through social media, you know, our phone. So definitely reach out if anybody know, you know, about any programs, any funding or resources that can be allocated towards us redeveloping this, because we definitely open to, you know, getting it done.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, folks. You heard it here. He's doing an all call for community leaders to come forward and help him revitalize this building and bring it back to its original glory. Now, the building has been shut since the 1970s, so about 40-something years, but he's working to restore it. Stay tuned. We still have more coming up. Make sure you stay tuned right here on Channel 2. For now, reporting in Baton Rouge, I'm Mia Monet, WBRZ News 2.
New this morning, a historic landmark getting a huge facelift after sitting idle for more than 40 years.
That's right. And TuneIn's Mia Monet is live at the historic Cook Theater in Scotlandville with more. Mia, good morning. It's a restoration celebration. And what are their future plans for the theater?
Good morning, Brandy and JP. That's right. We're standing live out here on Scenic Highway directly in front of the historic Cook Theater. Now, their big plans are to revitalize it. Mr. Tevin Wade, who's standing next to me here, he plans on bringing it back to its good old glory from the early 90s. Now, from the early 1900 era. Now, this building originally opened in the 1930s, and then there were some issues. It burned down, sadly, and they rebuilt it. And then, sadly, it closed down. The doors closed back in the 70s. And
I think it was a little bit. It might have been after the 70s. When they closed down officially, but yeah, it was around then, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
And now you bought it, and you're trying to bring the doors back open. Just talk to me about that plan that you have and that you see for yourself. I know you're from this community, so it means a lot to you.
Yeah, I'm from the community. I grew up in Scotland Square Apartments, not too far down the road. And you know, by having something like this, we didn't have the Cook Theater open when I was younger. So to have something like this and be able to try to bring it back to the community and understand the history that that the building holds, you know, all of it together, along with our communities needing things like, you know, the Cook Theater back in motion, so kids can, you know, have a place where they can come and see entertainment, see plays, see shows. Adults can have places where they can come and see concerts, and just have a community hub, you know, that we can gather around, and also just create that ecosystem and that safe place for our community.
And I know you're also calling on community leaders to help you with federal grants and state grants and everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. From local government, state government, and federal government, we're definitely open to applying and looking to apply for grants and different funding sources to help us revitalize this. It is a historic building. It's been, you know, well over since the 1930s, like you stated earlier. So bringing it back into commerce is vital for this community.
Okay, thank you so much, Tevin. Now, we still have more coming up, but we're learning all morning about this historic Cook Theater that's been open since the 1930s. That was first built in the 1930s, and now they're trying to bring it back to its glory. For now, reporting in Scotlandville, I'm Mia Monet, WBRZ News 2.
Landmark in Baton Rouge getting a huge facelift after sitting idle for more than 40 years.
Yeah, TuneIn's Mia Monet is live this morning at the historic Cook Theater in Scotlandville with more. Mia, good morning. So what's cooking at the Cook?
Good morning, Brandy and JP. That's right. There's some stuff cooking over here at the Cook on Scenic Highway, the historic Cook Theater to be exact. I'm actually joined right now by the man with the big plan, Mr. Tevin Wade. Good morning.
Good morning. How you feeling?
I'm good. Now tell me a little bit. I know you have a big plan for this. You were born and raised in this community, and you've been revitalizing it. You own some college housing, you own a restaurant, Lighthouse Pizzeria, and now you've bought out the historic Cook Theater. What do you plan on doing with this?
Yeah, one of our main goals is to revitalize it and turn it back to the historic building it was, you know, which was showing movies. We want to show movies. We want to bring entertainment, revitalize the inside, and just turn it back to a community hub like it used to be.
Now, what do you plan on doing as in funding?
Yeah, so we bought the building and we're self-funding some of it, but our goal is also to partner with community leaders, local, state, and federal, to figure out funding sources that can help us revitalize this project.
So it's like a call to action, I guess you could say.
We definitely will call it a call to action.
Okay, now what is your pitch to the leaders? If they're listening right now, what do you have to tell them?
Yeah, so I mean, when we look at historically black communities throughout the country, like they're disinvested right now, you know, and a lot of it is through systematic, you know, racism. So what we want to do is revitalize our communities. And Scotlandville, which is a community that I'm from, that's one of my main communities that we're starting with. Our goal is to revitalize communities around HBCU campuses. We're right outside the outskirts of Southern University, you know, which is 8,000 college students that goes there. We also in Scotlandville, which is around 8,000 community members. So for to have a theater come back to life and be a staple in the community, which what it was, you know, it's no brainer that it needs to happen. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wade. Well, there you have it, folks. He's doing an all call for any leaders in the community who want to help him put together some federal grants, state grants to help get this building back up and running. For now, reporting in Scotlandville, I'm Mia Monet, WBRZ News 2.